We're going to install the lower manifold before we put the motor in. We want to make sure and clean up this surface real good. Just real evenly. Don't want to put any deep scratches in there or anything. Some gaskets to choose from here. I believe that these are both from Velcro. Yeah, so we'll probably go ahead with these ones. They're both Velcro gaskets. It seems to have the silicone just on the one side. This one seems to have it on somewhat both sides there. Not exactly sure how that's working out. But I think we'll go ahead and use these ones. This one does say AR aluminum heads, port size 1.2 inch by 2 inch. So go ahead and unveil one side here. We'll take our gasket, we'll set it down in there. If you look at this gasket here, the gasket itself is smaller than the ports. This is a ported head, so this gasket essentially is too small. Let's try one of these guys. Let's see just how much different they are. As you can see, the port match here is pretty spot on. It's possible we could shave just a hair off the one side, but other than that, there's like hardly a lip there. Flip that guy over. I'll take this how it lines up here. That's just like too darn close, you know. Might not look that close on camera, I can't tell, but it is quite close to the gasket size. So maybe we'll just trim a little bit off the gasket. So I just gave a little bit of a slice down this side. We'll hold it up here to see what we're looking at now. You can see it's a little bit closer. And I think we're gonna run it. Looking good. So you want to take your gasket. The head side is going to be the side with the silicone. So you lay that on down, rest it on the tabs from the head gasket, as so. So that's how we'll be installing these right there. We'll add a little bit of RTV on the corners and then on the bead, essentially a 1/4 inch bead going across. And then we'll drop the lower manifold on. First we will start by putting our studs in with some anti-seize. We're going to be using some ARP studs 354-2103. It's the stud kit for the lower intake manifold. We'll go ahead and take the nuts off of these studs so we can set down the other gasket. Take this guy. Let's just set it down. Setting it on the tabs. We will have to cut some of the RTV off there, but for now we're just going to make sure. Don't need to remove any more material from the gasket at all. That's adequate. We will be putting a little RTV around the water ports on all 4 corners. Each gasket there. We'll probably just leave the valve cover sitting there. Take just some plain old anti-seize. This stuff should be fine. And then we're just going to take each of our studs, get a little bit of anti-seize on each one of them. So we'll time lapse that for you. Get a little bit, not a whole lot, anti-seize on the threads there, just because we're using aluminum. And to be honest, before we get too far into it, I'm just going to take all of these out for starters and clean our surfaces one last time with some brake clean and a rag. Surface is clean. We'll take this opportunity just to come in and cut out some of our excess RTV. solid bead across there. Re-clean the corners that we were just messing with. I want to clean the block at this point real well. Go ahead and NICs our studs, which, as we were saying before, it's not a real huge deal. We're just doing it because it's steel into aluminum. So I just want to be mindful of that. Of the lower intake. It's pretty RTV expensive here, so we'll take our RTV, and what we're going to do, start by taking our gaskets. We have cleaned and prepped all of our surfaces. We're going to RTV just around essentially the inner portion of the front and back of this guy. So make sure we got some good RTV coming out of the tube. Looking for something like that where it's not going to bleed over into this other port, essentially. So we'll clean this side up just a little bit so that we don't have to deal with any of that. Of course, that's not looking too bad right there. So that's about what we're looking for. So I'll set the RTV down. And just wipe up some of the excess which we don't need. We do have a little bit, like here for example, that is unnecessary, as well as this. Other than that though, I think we can call that pretty good. Something like that is what we're looking at. Go ahead and prep the other one as fast as we can. So I'll just take some of that off of there. This is now the other side. Got both those. Put that down. Set it on the head gasket tabs. Now we need to take our RTV. Just going to take this stuff and get a good 1/4 inch bead it calls for along here. So we'll get that nice and juicy. This is where it's a little better to go sloppy with the RTV than not to. We're all set and ready to drop down the manifold now. We've already prepped the surfaces of the manifold. It is ready to drop on. Alright, it would appear we don't have near enough RTV on there. So I'm going to pull this back off. She's already getting sticky. Come on. There it is. This bead wasn't even touching. That looks like it can be enough, maybe. Seems like we're good over there. Let's see, we better just torque this thing down so it sinks all the way in, and if we need to, we'll just add some more RTV on top. We got our hardware cleaned up. We'll drop all of our washers down. Pretty much be the final torque here. We're hitting, first time we hit them right around 15. We'll see what this is here. Kind of an odd bolt pattern, but we're hitting. So here's one, here's two. I was right around 15 foot-pounds there, actually. So now we will bump this up to like 22 foot-pounds. So this will be, for sure, the final torque on the low benefit. She's installed. This side sunk down a lot, so I'm not too worried about getting any extra in there. over here. Looking like it's sunk down pretty good as well. So we'll clean that up a little bit. Call that good for now.